In option G, I chose to use two of the Stealth side racks, the GSSMS, one on each side, and the reason for this is because there's a lot of you guys that love playing racks. You love the Stealth side rack in particular because it's very low profile, it's very compact, and it can be carried very easily. This serves all the same functions of a rack, of a bigger rack, but it's just stealth. It serves you very nicely. I was able to keep everything up top the same, but the bottom is different. So I decided to change up the scenery on the hi-hat side of the drum set. This is the first time in this video that you have seen a rack on the hi-hat side. It has a lot of benefits. So let's start with my core. My rack tom is mounted directly out of the front leg of the rack. I'm using a single tom mount, and my main crash is mounted with a short boom out of the back clamp of the single tom mount. Then I've got my side crash and my splash mounted to the horizontal bar using a long boom to get the height that I needed. Now you guys have seen the floor tom side before. This is the floor tom side of option D. I've got my 12-inch rack and my main crash being mounted out of the front T-leg. My ride cymbal and side crash are both mounted to the crossbar, and then my china is mounted out of the back leg. So a cool little route that you can go down when you have a rack or when you're playing with racks is the no-leg route. This actually cleans up your floor space even more than it already is. What I did with this little setup is I've got the same setup, but I swapped my snare stand out for a no-leg snare stand and my hi-hat stand out for a no-leg hi-hat stand. I connected my snare stand to the front leg of the rack, and then I connected my hi-hat stand to the crossbar of the rack. Now for the no-leg snare stand, I used two different components. I used the mini T-leg, which is the GSMTL. This comes on the actual Stealth rack. And I used the bent bar that comes on the Stealth rack, the SCGPRS bar. I connected that to the front leg, and it's really cool with the bent bar because the bent bar will go over a double pedal arm. The no-leg hi-hat stand was attached to the rack using the SCEA100. It's a 10 to 12-inch extension arm that has a rotating clamp on the very end, so it grabs right onto the hi-hat and it'll attach directly to the rack using a multi-clamp. So now we're moving on to option G1. Wait, that was backwards for you guys. You guys need to be like this. Better? What this is the Stealth side rack option, only in the offset configuration. So what I'm doing is I'm using the GSSMS on both sides, and all the hi-hat side is just a modification of option G. The floor tom side is option D1 that we know and love. Now by doing this, the reason I did this is because I know there's a lot of you guys out there that like to play side racks, and you particularly like the Stealth side rack. I wanted to show you how it can be done in an offset configuration, and I wanted to show you how all the cymbals still ended up in the exact same way. So on my hi-hat side, I got the GSSMS here. I got my auxiliary crash, my splash cymbal using the longer boom arms mounted directly to the GSSMS. Then I got my main crash out of the back of the tom mount. Our core is all mounted to this left rack now. So I had to change the tom mount. Instead of using a single, I'm now using a double. I'm using the SCDP, and it's a dual platform tom mount stand that has available sockets for 2 ball L-arms and a clamp in the back. So my floor tom side is just good old option D1. I got my main crash coming out of the front leg. My ride cymbal and my second crash are both mounted to the crossbar, and then I got my china coming out of the back leg. Those of you that are into a little more floor space and a little more stability, you can go with the no-leg option. We got a no-leg snare stand and a no-leg hi-hat stand attached to this rack right now. I've got the GSMTL, which is the mini T-leg bass, and I got the GUASB, which is the ultra adjust snare basket that you can fit right into the GSMTL. I've connected it to the side Stealth rack and the front leg by using the Stealth bent bar, the GPRS S bar. Now for the hi-hat stand, I use the SCEA100, which is an extension arm with a clamp, an adjustable clamp on the end, and I just attached it directly to the side rack using a multi-clamp.